Both the Lions and the Packers postseason dubs.
Dude. Dude, what a frackin' game. A statement game. Jordan Love. Him.
Dude, he's impressive.
Aaron Jones also owns the Dallas Cowboys.
A couple of those throws are just disgusting by Jordan Love.
He is playing as like legitimately like one of the best QBs in the league right now. Like how he's been playing the last like month and a half has been absolutely incredible.
Both the Packers and Lions benefited from scoring on their opening drive and then scoring again. And the difference was like, I think we just saw the difference after that between the Cowboys and the Rams in terms of being like a legit football team. Because the Cowboys folded. They just folded.
Dude, I had hoped, of course, the Packers would win. I was like, I think there's a shot. They run Aaron Jones a lot.
Yeah.
Which they did. But dude, like the defense didn't even show up.
Yeah, that's the only thing that should worry the Packers right now is that, like, did we play a real team? Like, is it going to be a lot harder next week, or are we just this good? Because we made the Cowboys look like they should be a UFL team. They should be relegated. If a playoff team could ever be relegated, it was what the Cowboys did on Sunday.
Yeah.
Dude, it was so funny. Like, I'm watching that game. It's 14-0. I'm like, Tom's got to be feeling good. Bark's got to be feeling good. And that opening drive, I'm like, shit, LaFleur's got a nice game plan. And their offense, methodical. I was like, if they just do this all game, long drives, even if the Cowboys score fast, they keep coming back and doing this. And then it's 14-0. Then it's 20-0. And then it's 27-0. And as soon as they were getting close to 27-0, I'm like, I got to go see how Tom's doing on his stream right now. I was like, it's got to be popping. And then I think it was at 31,000 people at that moment. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
It's a perfect storm of elated Packers fans. And then I think a bunch of fans just ready to watch the Cowboys get spanked. And then, of course, some actual Cowboys fans being
that are just like, dude, I don't even know what to do. Yeah, I mean, this game, I have a lot to talk about with that game. Post game is all done and edited. Johnny's dealing with some internet issues, so we're going to try to get that out at some point today. But legitimately, this is, how I felt about this for the past few weeks. I was like, the Packers have already had a great season. Whatever happens, happens. House money, what have you. And I think a lot of the narratives today are going to be about the Dallas Cowboys and how they blew this, right? Undefeated at home, number 2 seed. A number 7 seed has never won in the playoffs since they expanded a couple years ago. And it is just like a monumental collapse for Dallas against a team that on paper they should have beaten.
Yeah.
But again, I want to shift a little bit of the focus to holy crap. You talk about Matt LaFleur. What a game plan by him. Aaron Jones, amazing yesterday. Jordan Love, perfect QB rating. Like, absolutely. Then he came in and threw that one.
It did drop because of that, because they had to put him back in.
They had to put him back in. Yeah, that one was not so great because here's the thing. Like, we were up 27-0. I was like, yeah, I want another one. Like, just got to keep it going. And thankfully, the offense kept it going because I don't trust Joe Barry in any way, shape, or form. So, I have to give props because the first 3 quarters, he called an amazing game.
Yeah. I mean, he called an amazing game. Dak did not play well. Like, Dak was just playing stupid. And I feel like I don't want Dak to choke. Cowboys choking as a whole is fine, but like I really like Dak Prescott. I think we just hate the Cowboys because they remain popular no matter what happens.
Of course,
right?
Yeah.
And they just is one of the I feel like what was the last like ass beating we've seen in the playoffs that was like this? I can't remember every wild card round, and even like the Texans over the Browns, like
the first half was competitive
for a half.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
here's the thing now. We were talking about Dan Quinn getting that job, McCarthy gets fired. Dan Quinn did not look good. And like now you look at, I made that joke and then I kind of like talked myself into it a little bit. If I'm Jerry Jones, I might be calling Bill Belichick to see what he's doing.
Oh yeah.
I might be giving him a ring because this is, I was talking to Scooter yesterday. He says hi. And he's like, it goes beyond like a single player. It goes beyond a single coach. Like it's an organizational thing.
Sure.
And to be completely honest, I get that. That's how I felt, when we had McCarthy after the Super Bowl, we had that. It's like, yeah. And then just you had a decade of very competitive play going into the playoffs the majority of the years. But it's like, okay, like we got to get over the hump here. And thankfully, they won when it was early, and Rodgers was able to get one. So it was like, okay, it's not as bad as it could have been. But for the Cowboys, they've had this now with multiple QBs stretched over since the 90s, and they just can't get over the hump. And it just seems that whenever it comes to playoff time, regardless of what their record is in the playoffs, they could be the best team, the second best team, undefeated at home, whatever. It doesn't matter because they're just not built for the playoffs. And I know that is a very general thing to say. And I know it's oversaid on a lot of like talking head shows and all that.
Sure.
But legitimacy, like when they get to the playoffs, the Cowboys just like fold under pressure. And I think you could look at coaching as to why that is a potential problem. But then it also comes down to execution, and there just wasn't any, because that is the worst game that the Cowboys defense has had this year. It's the most points that they let up.
Yeah.
The Packers had their
allowed
best
in a postseason game, right?
Yep. I mean, right now, the Green Bay Packers have more playoff wins in AT&T Stadium than the Cowboys do. Like, that's not a great stat, Bob. That's probably, the 49ers probably have our number with that. But, dude, it's rough. It's Rob Ryan.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how LaFleur and Shanahan prepare for each other, right? Because it's such a similar background, and the Packers were so much more well prepared for this game.
Yes.
And if you're talking about the Cowboys and it not being like one thing, it's a guy like Belichick who could come in there and have his own approach, his own shaping of the culture. And a lot of places might not want that type of culture anymore, because it's such like that old school thing. But maybe because the Cowboys have so many pieces, like maybe that's a team that would actually be ready for Belichick and ready to put in that kind of work just to get over this hump and get rid of this narrative.
Well, because now we're talking about McCarthy, we're talking about Dan Quinn. Dude, like contracts are going to be up. And like now here we go again. Like we're going to have to talk about Dak. Dak, who you could argue was a front runner for MVP for a decent chunk of the season. Like ever since that like Eagles game, the first one, and that Rams game, he looked really good. And then he was like really putting together a great resume. It's just like they're regular season champions, just like the Packers were the past couple of years. Not last year, obviously, but the 2 years before that. Yeah, you could do all the stuff in the regular season. You could set records. You'd be undefeated at home. You could do all this stuff. But maybe it's going to take like a legit culture change. And I think Jerry Jones, if we're talking about any owner, that's the guy who is like, you know what? I'll do whatever it takes to win a Super Bowl. So like, I'll bring in a guy. I'll throw all the money at him that it will possibly take. Come here, last 2 years, do whatever you want. Try to win us a Super Bowl. Run the team the way you want to run it. Because like you said, the Cowboys do have all those pieces. Maybe. Because I don't see how McCarthy survives this.
Yeah. I mean, I think Jerry would be like, come in, Belichick, and I will just leave myself inside the glory hole all year, and you do whatever you need.
And it is a reminder, I've been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so having said that, I want me some glory hole.